Hello, everybody. This is Rosa from RCG Creations. How are you? It's been a while since I've been done a video. Been messing with this COVID stuff, working full time. Haven't been off at all. Worked from home for about 2 months. More than an 8-hour normal day, but that's just part of what it is. Anyway, back to normal. Back on getting my groove of going back to my crafting. Today we're going to be making a triple matte card that I saw on YouTube, and I took the instructions from D.O. Stamping. She posted her stuff on June the 10th or the 11th. I can't read my writing. June of 2012. So check her out. It's D.O. Stamping. Anyway, the measurements are, actually before I do that, let me show you. I did different methods of cards just to give myself a variety. Mostly I did it mainly to find out can I do it, because I wrote it down, I did it, it didn't work out, it didn't look good, but I did it anyway, did it again, and it was alright, wasn't too happy, but the third time was a charm. It's like, oh, I get it now, it finally sank in, like, oh, this is how you do it. But anyway, this is what we're going to make today. And this is a triple matte card. So you can see here's the card, there's the matte, card, matte, and card matte. I did a little bit of Spectrum Noir sparkle pens on the banana peel, that's the banana peel, because this is the banana. But it's only on the bottom, the dark yellow part of the banana, and on this white part here, and only on the yellow, just to give a little bit of a glitter. I don't think you're going to be able to see it very well in the camera. I really don't know. But anyway, that's the entire card. And it says, I'm bananas for you. And on the inside, I've got it, and it says, wishing that all your wishes come true on your birthday. Nice, plain and simple. And I just did a decorative edge with my Carl Jr. trimmer that comes in multiple blades. And I went ahead and just put it on the same thing because I wanted to give you a variety. So there's one card. This is just a regular A2 envelope that goes with this card. But here is another one that I did, and this is a 5x7 card. And I just did another stamp set, and I layered it, but this time I layered it sideways instead of this one in the dead center. See the difference? Oh, this is upside down. Sorry about that. See, this is the one in the dead center, and this is the one to the side. What's nice about these triple matte, or even if you do double matte, is you can put it anywhere you want to on the card. It's totally up to you. And I went ahead and stamped on the base of the card, where on this one I did not stamp on the base. I just did it on the matte layers. Excuse me, the layers, not the mattes. The matte is the yellow. The white is the matte is the yellow. The white is the stamping part. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what she called it. She just said layer and then matte. So the white is the matte, the brown is the layer. So I only colored on the layers. Okay, but I went ahead on this one, and I also colored and inked on the base the card. So that's the front. It just says a bouquet. Yeah, here we go. A bouquet to celebrate. A bouquet to celebrate you. And I hope you can see this on the camera. I really don't know, but I added some glossy accents to make the jar look like glass. So I hope you can see that. And then this is the inside. I went ahead and did another stamping and inking, and it says for your birthday. So I'm still working on birthday cards for donation to this church group that I belong to. And that's what this is for. And this is a 5x7. So you can see this is a 5x7 card. This is an A2 card, which is 4.5 by 5.5. And you see the size there? So you know you can add in everything. And the easiest way to do this is whatever you decide for your main focal point of the mat, which is the big mat. Cut everything back 1/4 to 1. Let me do my, you know me and my measurements. I don't know them. So cut everything 1/4 to 1/2 smaller as you go down in each layer. So start off with your big one first, and then go to the middle one or the next one, depending on if you want to do 2 layers. Now on this particular card, as you can see, there's more room if you wanted to. You can actually add 2 more layers here if you wanted to, because what's nice about this type of card, it's this one's called a triple matte card, is you can make multiple layers. It's totally up to you. Okay, so which I think I'm going to do that later on, but right now I just didn't do it. So that's the inside of that card. And I went ahead and colored and embossed the outside of the envelope for mailing. So there's plenty of room for my return address and to mail to the recipient. I don't know who's going to get this one because this is another card for the church donation. And then this is my first one that I was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed to show it, but I'm going to show it because it is what it is. You know what? We all hit and miss. It is. It's something brand new. I've never done it before. I've seen it. I always just was too intimidated by it, but it's like, oh well. It's actually kind of cute, but I hope you can tell me, put in the comments where you can see the boo-boos on this card. And I know you can see them. But anyway, here, this is another 5x7. I got a stack of 5x7 carded envelopes, so I went ahead and used them. And I did metallic dewdrop in inks with my blending brushes. I inked the background. And then here's my matte and my layers. And I used pencils, colored pencils, instead of ink. And you can see the vibrance difference between the ink and the colored pencils. But I wanted, and I also did this in craft paper, because I wanted everybody to see that, you know, don't just get stuck with white or creams. Use your dark colored paper, because there's all kinds of things that you can do with that. And as you can see, I inked everything in white, so you can still see it all, but it's a soft look. And this is a little ice cream cone, and of course it says, "You melt my heart." And then in the front, and then the inside, I just put on there, "So sweet." So it's nothing special, but this is all done with Dewdrop Brilliance ink pads, and then I just colored everything with my colored pencils. So I hope you can see all that there. And this is another 5x7, and I just did a plain Jane envelope for this one, nothing special, but I'm going to add a little birthday message to this one, and I'm going to add this to my pile to give for birthday cards for the church. And then I just did my Nauvoo drops right here. And I'm not all that great on my Nauvoo dropping. I'm learning. It's a new technique that I'm learning. I have not mastered it. But you know what? It still looks cute. It looks good. It's all cool. The colors coordinate with each other. And I do like the way the Nauvoo drops worked out cute on the bottom of the ice cream cone cup. That I thought was kind of cute. Let me see. I'm going to bring it up to you so I hope you can see it. And I hope I'm in focus. I know in the past videos I was like, I'm out of focus, I'm not in here. So anyway, I'm going to get that. But I noticed that as it settled, because I made this one about 3-4 days ago. This is my first one that I made. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Actually, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to wait for you to post in the comments, where do you think the boo-boos are? I can see it plain as day, but I'm going to let you do it. So you tell me, where do you think, and then we'll go from there. So let me move these 2 cards over. And let's go ahead and get started on today's project. Alrighty, so let me get all my stuff together and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. What we're going to start today with is decorating the envelope. I know some people like to do it, some people don't. It's a personal choice. I just do it at random. But what one thing I'm going to show you is this, the Stamparatus stamping tool. This is the Stamparatus. It's the stamping tool by Stampin' Up. You get 2 covers, and the reason I like it is because I'm already going to line up where I want, my stamp is already going to be lined up where I want to stamp it, and I can do both sides at the same time and not have to reposition everything over and over. So we're going to do today first, and this was the 5x7 that I'm not going to use, because I'm going to use the A2 size envelope. There's the top, and I'm just going to line it up on the edge over here. Get my little magnet just so it doesn't move on me. Get my other magnet, and be very careful with these magnets, as they will break just like your other magnets with the Misty and any other stamping tool. So try to make sure they're not, you don't put them together. So I'm going to put my little banana And because it's an envelope, I'm not trying to use the whole banana. And then just barely touch it, fix it up. Oh, you know what I forgot? Because I'm using the Clear Cling, I get to use my mat. The mat does come with it. You get the base, this little foam pad. You use the foam pad when you're doing the Clear Cling stamps. You take the foam pad out when you're using the red rubber, which is this other one that I was just using a while ago. And this I just created from a Stampin' Up! Placemat cover that they sell. And I laminated it because I want all my inking to come on here. I didn't want any inking to get on my mat or my thing. So, and it doesn't take up any space whatsoever because it's so thin and flimsy. It's really thin paper. And then I have a little ruler here on both edges. So for projects that I need to measure, it's already there. So let me put myself back to my little edge here. Put my magnets down. And let me see my back. Oh, actually that turned out really good. Perfect spot. Yay! Now I'm using my Memento ink because I am going to be coloring this with alcohol markers. I'm not going to color on camera just to save on time because pretty much everybody knows, and you can tell from the original card what it was and how it's done. And I like my stamping tool because I'm going to bring this up to you so you can see that a little bit. See, it's stamped, but it didn't stamp all that bright and clear for my taste. And because I have wrist problem issues from this car wreck that I was in a couple of years ago, for me personally, a stamping tool works best. Now, my ink pad is pretty darn juicy, okay? I just don't have enough pressure in my hands. I have problems with them. And so, for me, a stamping tool works best for me. So I get a nice, clean, crisp look. See that there? It's nice and crisp and clean and dark, and it's good enough for, I like it. It's a nice, good look for me. Oh, I forgot my wipies. Clean myself. I didn't bring my stamp chamois because I'm not going to do a whole lot of stamping today. I'm going to be doing some, but not going to do a whole lot. So I'm not using my stamp shanty. Plus my little wipies here are starting to dry up just a little bit, so I need to hurry up and use them. I can always just re-wet them and re-moisten them, and that's fine. And these I got because of all this COVID stuff. A lot of the stuff two months ago were out of stock, so I ended up having to buy this big one, so I just cut them down because I didn't need to use a whole sheet. Because a lot of my stamps that I do are small, so I don't need a whole sheet for that, so I just cut them down. Now, what I'm going to do is I created my own mask. Where did I put it? Okay, where's my mask? I just had it. Okay, where did it go? Oh, before I go any further, get the ink out of the way so I don't step on it or get myself all inky. Okay, where's my mask? I created a mask by stamping on some, I just saw it. Literally, I just did. Okay. I may have to pause the video to find where my mask is at. Okay, couldn't have gone too far. I didn't go there anywhere. Okay, well. Oh, here it is. I had to move my mat because I rearranged my craft table. So I had to move the camera and I rearranged my mat. So what I did is, on a sticky note or any masking paper, you can buy the masking paper, but I'm frugal, so I just used sticky notes. I just cut it, I stamped it, and then I fussy cut it all the way around, and it's got the sticky in the back of it, okay? Then all you do is line it up with the original. And my sticky's already come off on that end, but that's okay. I'm good because I got the main gist of it. Is now I want to stamp again. And as you can see, on my original one here, here's my first stamp. See, because you're masking, you don't overlap each other. And it doesn't, you can't see it because the masking takes care of that. Where on my original project, and I'll show you. here, I forgot to mask when I did this first one, but you can see all this is bunched up, and you can see the black lines and the yellow petals and everything because they're all bunched up because I didn't mask. So it's not a crisp, clean look like it is up here because this is just one stamp by itself. Here, this is 3 different stamps that I stamped it 3 times, but because I didn't mask, I got this messy little look here. So that's a tip. Mask as often as possible. And what's nice is with these masks, is you get to save them and reuse them and reuse them and you reuse them again. So they're not a total waste. I personally would not fussy cut anything that's really detailed because it's a lot of work. But if you want to, go ahead. I've done it. And I save my mask. I keep them all in the same packaging because I keep all my packaging. This stamp set is from Recollections. And you get the 4 dies. And this is all the stamp sets that you get with it. And it does, I don't see a name. I don't see a name. It just says Recollections Valentine's Day. But I don't know where there's a Valentine on it. That's just, as you can see, that's what it is. And then I just keep everything in a pocket, sheet pocket protector, because I store mine in a little basket. So I'm going to move this out of the way, just so I have it out of the way. So now I'm going to, my stamp is where I want to stamp it. Let me get my ink pad, and I just want to show you, let me get myself in frame. I think I'm in frame now. I'm just going to ink it. And if it's not ink good, I need to double ink it. That's okay. I'm good to go with that. Press down. It's okay. It's not dark enough for me, so I'm going to ink it again. Usually for me, it's only 2 times that I have to do this. A friend of mine that I craft with a lot, she only has to do it 1, but then she doesn't have any problems with her hands like I do. So, see? Perfect. 2 stamps, and I get a good, clean view of my stamp. And you get your little wipey, wipe off your stamp, because I'm going to stamp again. And then I'm going to take my mask off. And there we go. And now, oh, actually, no, I don't want to take it off because I'm going to do it on this side. I messed up. I should have left it on there, but that's okay. Because if the stamp, your mask is still good, you can always just put some double-sided adhesive on the front and restamp it again, and it gets real sticky again. Okay, and I see a little mess up here for my ink pad. I'm a little messy, so I like to clean my stuff up as I go. Excuse me, this allergy is killing me. Okay, so now I want to get most of my banana, but I want, you know what, I'm going to go offside. I'm going to go off sides here, and because if there's a stamp there, I can do that, and it's not that big of an issue. So, now here, I did the off sides. I've got my mask on the bottom one because I don't want any ink on there. So I'm going to stamp it again. Let me make sure I'm in focus. I hope I'm in focus. Let me get my pens out of the way. Sorry for the reach here. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp it. And you notice I got stamp ink on here, but that's okay because this is laminated. So I can wipe it off once I'm done. And I personally like to wipe and clean my stamping tools before I start the new project. For the simple fact is, sometimes some inks stain and leave a residue and remark, and it's hard to come off your stamping tools. So I like to clean as I go. Okay. Ta-da! Perfect. Liked it. I don't think I really want to do more than 3 bananas on an envelope. I could, but damn, I don't think I will. I don't want to make it too busy. But this is what's nice is on these envelopes, you can color it as much as you want. I've even done some where I've done the entire envelope, and then for mailing purposes, all I do is get a white label. Actually, these I use these from Avery, and I just keep them right here on my desk because I use them all the time. And they're just the little sheets, you know. And I get the mailing labels, and I also get the extra white ones because sometimes I like this is a good thing to use for masking also. because it's got the low tack on the back, so you can use that for masking tools also. And then I'm just going to take my mask off, and I like to pull slowly just to be on the safe side, because you know, things happen, you just never know. I'm going to put this over here with my thing because I'm going to keep my mask with my stamp and die set, so it's always together, and I know I always have it there. Okay, so that's done. And there's my little bananas. Wipe my little tool just to get all the ink off. And that project is done. Put my magnets back on here, and that part is done. And okay, I'm not going to do this one anymore, but I am still going to need this tool, my stamping tool, because now what I want to do is get my card base. So to do your card bases, okay, I'm just going to put these together to make sure that I know where they're at. This is an A2 size card. The measurements that DO Stamping uses is your first layer, and I want to show you the main card first. This is your first layer. This layer is 2 by 3 1/4. The mat is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. The second layer is, that's this middle one right here, is 3 by 4 1/4, and the mat is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. The third layer is 4 by 5 1/4, and the mat is 4 by 5. Or you can elect not to use a mat altogether, which is what I'm going to do on this next project. Because this one shows you with the mat. I just wanted to show you different options. So this one shows you with the mat. And this one is going to be without that mat. Because I'm going to use the card base as the mat itself. So this is what it's going to look like. And just pretend it's all put together nice and pretty, but it's not yet, but it will be. And that's what it's going to look like. So that's the difference between the two here. This one actually has a mat to the third layer. This one I'm choosing not to. This is what's kind of really great about this type of card, is there's so many things you can do with it. It's totally up to you. So now let's get to our layering. This is the mat. Mat does never get inked. You never ink on the mat part at all. You only ink on, and I'm going to set this up because I want to put this on my stamping tool so it stays in line. And you kind of just want to eyeball this pretty much where you think is to pretty much center on all four sides. And ink it, put it there. It's kind of hard to tell because it's the same color paper, but you can kind of sort of see it. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of my double-sided tape, which I'm using my ATG gun. I'm just going to put a little strip there. And all it is because I don't want it to move. So I'm going to line this back up again, pretty much on the center of everything. Get myself some little double-sided adhesive tape. And you just want to do a little bit because you don't want to keep this on there permanently. You just wanted to keep it from moving as you're stamping. Okay, and that's pretty much in the center. Now, because I'm going to stamp all the way around, now you don't have to, and in this particular case I'm not going to, but like in the first one that I showed you before, on here, you see how I went ahead and stamped all the way around? So it's your choice. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. But in this particular case, I'm not going to, because I'm only going to do, I'm basically doing another exact one just like this. So I'm only going to be stamping on the bottom, not the top. So I can actually put my magnets here on the top, and there I know they're not going to move. And the whole thing's not going to move, and it's always going to stay in the right position because I'm only going to be stamping from this end part here. I hope you're with me on that, okay? Alrighty, so that's my layer. Let me get my banana. Where's my banana? There's my banana. And I went ahead and did this earlier, and I stamped and die cut this little banana out of cardstock. Okay. And oh, this first thing I want to do is you want to stamp your message. You always want to stamp your message first, and that's on the top layer. And because I'm doing this a little bit crooked because I want it to be crooked, just like the first one was. You know what? Am I doing this right? Wait, yeah, I'm doing this right. I just want to make sure my, because I changed colors on myself. Yeah, this is my mats. This is my coloring layers. Okay, so yes, I'm doing that correctly. So I need this top half here. I'm not going to use this top half here. So I need to make sure that my banana is there, and it's off just a little bit, but that's okay. Because I had already moved everything, but you can see it. And I want it to be a little bit on the crooked, because you know when your bananas are like, going crazy. So I want it to be a little bit crooked. And I'm going to want my little banana to go right here. So I'm in my spot. I want to make sure I'm in the groove, so when it stamps, it's only on this top layer only. And my banana's going to go there. That's going to go there. I don't need this. Okay. Now I'm just going to get my Memento ink again. I'm going to stamp it. Good, good. Well, I'm going to do one more little layer, just a little light tap. I don't want a whole lot of ink, and I don't need a whole lot of pressure. Okay, perfect. So that message, my first message, which says, "I'm bananas for you," is there. Wipe my message, wipe off the ink. Try to always wipe off your ink as soon as you can before it dries and gets yucky, because it's a lot easier that way. And as you can see, it's nice and clean. Nothing more, and there's not a whole lot of cleanup I have to do later on. Okay, so that one's done. And then my little, I'm going to put this up on some foam squares and right there, but I'm not going to mess with it now. So now I get to move my Madicus back up, only because I don't want it to move. And now I'm going to do my bananas. And I'm going to do these a little bit different from what I did the first time, but I am going to put my banana here so I know where this guy's going to go, of where I need to line these guys. And because I want people to see the face, because I think that's really cute on the banana, the face of the banana. I'm going to line that up first. Let me get my mat. I don't think I'm going to use my mat. I might not. I don't know yet. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of tape on here, adhesive, on my ATG gun on the tip, because it was already coming out that sticky on the, this is a post-it note. It's like anything else, once you use it and use it and use it, it wears out. Okay, so we're good now. There's my mask. So let me get my ink pad again. I don't know why I put it away. Don't need, I'm not done with it yet. Ink it. Stamp it. Not dark enough for me. I'm going to do it one more time. And typically with me, I have to do this. I'm always having a double stamp. That's why for me, I like to use a stamping tool versus a block. And I've got a bunch of blocks, so I just don't. Because of medical issues, it's just easier for me not to do the block. Sometimes I use the block, but sometimes I don't. Now I'm just going to put my mask over where I just inked, because this next banana that's going to be overlapping, I don't want to get ink on it. So I'll get my banana, rearrange it, and I'm going to rearrange him where he's pretty much all here. And this is where you're using your own creativity. And you get to do what you want. Stamp it. Ooh, that one turned out good. First time. But I'm going to do it a little bit crisper. Just because I want it a little bit crisper. And I'm barely pushing on it. especially with these fine detail like the little eyes in the mouth and the little smiley face of the banana. You don't want to push it too hard because this is a clear. The rubber ones are the ones that you can press a little bit harder and you're okay. These can tend to squish and spread out, and then they causes fuzziness. Okay, so that takes care of that one. And I'm going to slowly peel. And see that? I did the overlapping with the masking, and people can't tell that I did that. Okay, so now I'm going to do this guy. And I'm going to make him go all nice and pretty and funky over here. Oh, I don't want him over there. I want him over here. Because he's my mask. So I'm going to mask him on this side. I'm not too worried about that side because I'm not going to go on that side. So let's make him go this way. Actually, I want him to go a little bit funky. We're going to get him to go a little bit crooked. Because for me, my imagination, bananas means you're going all crazy and you're doing all kinds of funky things. I don't know if that's funky, it's still today's terminology, but I'm old school. My granddaughter, she's 18, graduated high school, and going to college. Yay! Go, Grandma, we don't talk that way no more. Or we don't say that. Or she'll go, what? What was that? What does that mean? What is that? And I go, well, in my day, this is what we used to say. This is what we talk about. But she keeps me young. She keeps me in the know of this is kosher, this is not kosher. Do this on Facebook. Don't do this on Facebook. Okay, now I'm going to do the mask again on this other guy. Only on this guy, I want to make sure I got my mask over the skin correctly, because I do not want the overlayer look. And I'm going to go, this guy's going to go crazy. Yep, and then the mask's right there. See, I want to make sure my mask is down. So I don't want any ink to go over. But we're going to get this guy to go a little bit goofy. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again. Okay, I didn't like, and the tip of the banana did not ink for my taste. Yay! But I needed that tip a little bit more. You know why? It's not going because it's on the second layer of that second layer. So that's why you can't see it. But that's okay. I'm good to go with that. It is what it is. Okay, wipe off my banana, the ink off my banana. We're going to go with one more layer. And I'm going to get my mask. Slowly peel it off. And let's get him on this next layer. I always like to position the most delicate parts first, because it'll all eventually line up. Okay. And then let's go with him. I want to see his eyeballs, but I don't want him to be too far away. Let's go right here. I actually want to see his face though, because I love the face on these bananas. I like these little character die-in stamps when they have the cute little faces. Okay. Stamp. A little bit dark for me. I need to do it one more time. I'm not surprised. Yay! It worked. Wipe off my stamp. And because I don't really want to go too far up, I've done bananas all the way around, but it's like, yeah, that's a little too much. So I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. Cleaned him all off. Move him out of the way. Okay. Close my lid because I don't want to get ink on anything. Take off my mask. And be careful because you got 3 layers here, so be careful. Take off your mask nice and soft, easily. Not nice and soft, but take it off easy. Okay, there we go. Now let's clean up our mat. I don't want to get, and I don't want the ink to dry up there because then I'll have a dirty mat. I've seen a bunch of people, even some that have been around for quite some time and they're very, very popular. They have tons and tons of viewers, but they have the dirtiest mats. And their stamping tools, their Misties and whatever, their trays are all dirty. It's like, how can you see through all that dirt, all that ink that's dried up because you didn't clean your mat? You know, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Now let's get our original. Move this out of the way. And here, if you haven't done all this other stuff, this is where you would actually color. But because this is yellow on black, I'm going to leave it just the way it is because I'm totally fine with that because it's banana and it gets the main focal point and I wanted something different. So I'm not actually going to color anything. But here, before you take this apart, color. This is now when you want to color. And first, we first started with stamping your very first card with your main message. And I'm going to be putting this on foam dots, on foam squares, foam adhesive to raise them up a little bit. Now we want to layer it. So she's always said, it's a woman that's doing, but I never got her name. So D.O. Stamping said, I'm just slowly taking this off because I ended up using paper. I didn't use cardstock. You can use cardstock or you can use paper. I just didn't want to do bulky. So I went with paper. Now I'm just going to add adhesive on all 4 sides. This is just something Rosa does. Some people are starting to do 1 or 2 little pieces and they're good to go. But because this is going to go in the mail and we're in Texas heat. Texas heat's not too good for stuff in mail. And I don't want this to come apart because the heat got to the adhesive and it came off. But with my ATG gun, that's not likely it's going to happen, but it could. Anything can happen. And then you just want to line it up. You want to line it up. I hope I'm in focus here. You want to line it up and center it. Okay, good. Yeah, I think I am. Then I like to do this. You can also use your bone folder to get the good impression all the way around. Okay, now do the second layer. And actually this paper is old paper that I've had for many, many years ago that I use bits and pieces here and there and here and there. And I just keep them in my, anything that's kind of big, I keep my paper. I don't throw it away. I only throw it away when it's little tiny, anything smaller than that I throw away. But this size and bigger I hang on to it because you just never know. And I love it to use in my Cricut when I'm doing my Cricut and I'm doing die cutting in the Cricut or my actual dies, either one. Okay, the timer on that camera went off again. Okay. And as you can see on this one, I'm off a little bit, but I'm not going to sweat it. You can still sort of see the white a little bit, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And then this is going to go on the base of this guy. And because this is the base, I like to put extra adhesive down. This is just a Rosa thing. And now I'm gonna, I want to open them up. I like to be able to hold down so it doesn't buckle from the fold of the card. Okay. I'm really close to the edge, but that's okay because that's what we want. On this particular card, I'm using the actual card, it's the base card as the base of the card. And here's that adhesive that was on there from before. Now we're going to layer everything. Oh, I forget. We're going to do the first layer first. Because that's what she said to do. You do the first layer first, then the second, then the third. Because we need to, and I need to show you Always pay attention to what's the top and what's the bottom. So here's my top because I know that, and here's my bottom. So you want to line it up to where the prior inking would be. That's the whole point of the project, is you want it to look like you did it all as one, but you didn't. So you want to line up your points exactly where they would be if it was all one solid piece. There. And see? That looks like a solid banana, and the whole thing's lined up right. Now we're going to do the second layer, and we're going to add it to the third layer, which is on the base card. And I always get these little stragglers of glue. You see that? The little stragglers of glue on these adhesive. I would like to push them back because if you don't, they get sticky. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line them up. We're going to see here, so we're going to match it up where we think the actual bottom half of the card would go. And that is, I think, a pretty good... This is where you really want to eyeball everything. And you want to follow through where the parts will go. Then you lay down your mat. That's why you do the top half last, other than stamping. But because I'm going to pop them up on some foam, double-sided adhesive, you want to do that last. And there is that part of the card. But see how it all matches? All the bananas, and there's your layers. Now let's get our foam, and we're going to put our foam, and this is just foam that I had from the other banana that I did first. Where's my, I like to use my, these are Teflon coated scissors, so adhesive doesn't stick to them. And let's cut this down some. And I always want to make sure when you're putting your foam on here that you don't get really close to the edges, because otherwise you'll be able to see it. So make sure you're in the center. Now because these are tiny little spots, I'm going to make these narrow. Now when you do that on this double-sided, you got to be careful because this are tiny, but I want to be able to give them depth, and which is the reason I'm using the foam, the double-sided adhesive foam, is I want to give it some depth. And sometimes when they're tiny like this, the little top layer of the plastic cover comes off, but that's okay. Just hang on to them both at the same time because I'm not ready to stick this on there. So, oop, and that's too long. So I need to cut this one down. And I'm just going to eyeball that. And then, see, he's inside there, so he's not going to be visible. This is so tiny I don't even bother. That's not, throw that away. That's not worth my time. And then I want to do a little snip. And I want to get my, oops, I want to give him some depth here. And then I want to do the little tip, because remember, we're mailing this in the postal mail, and you don't want it to get all squished and bent. So sometimes putting too much foam is good. I would rather put too much foam than not enough, because I guarantee you when the recipient gets it, they're going to like it, but it's going to be squished. And it's going to be squished where the foam pieces are not at, and that's going to ruin the card. Okay, now let me do my little tip. I don't think that's too big. So let's cut this down. And I'm going to get it as close to that as possible. So there you go. Now you see where all the foam is at. There. Now I'm just going to take off. I'm going to get my little pokey tool. For me it's easier because I got little nubs. I type, I'm constantly typing at work, and I can't type with long nails, so I don't grow nails. Once I totally retire, which hopefully will be in 3 to 5 years, Hopefully 3, not 5. Who knows with the economy is what's going on. I definitely don't want to have to work when I retire. I want to be able to enjoy my retirement, and my husband and I hope to be able to travel, at least do some traveling, not just in the U.S. but overseas, and just see some stuff that we didn't get to enjoy when we were younger. So I'm hoping to have some fun. Okay, I'm having fun now because this for me is very relaxing. It's comforting. And then the Pokey tool just releases the release tape. And then everything is ready to be added. And then I just line her up. And oops, I moved my little adhesive. That happens when it's so sticky and it's so tiny like that. But just push it back. See, I moved it, so just pushing it back. And then it'll lay flat in just a minute when I put it on here. So let's put this little guy right here. And just lightly tap it. Don't put a lot of pressure, especially on the little thin areas like the little peelings here. But there is that card. It's not totally finished because I got to do the inside. But there's a card. Here's my original. And you can definitely see the differences between the two there. See? There's the differences. You know, but it's like anything else. Use your imagination. And the main thing, this one's cute, but this one's cute too. And the main focal point is the little banana. The main one, the main banana. I could color coded this, but it's already yellow. I just don't think I really need to. It's cute enough as it is. So let me get my stamping pad, because I'm going to stamp the inside. And I'm going to change my trays out. My plates, excuse me, because I already have a plate. Okay, that was this side. Okay, wishing. Okay, what does my message say? Wishing that all you have. Okay, I can't read upside down. This is the red rubber, but I took it off a wood block, and a lot of times my cling doesn't stick, so I just put some double-sided my ATG gun on the back so it sticks. Here we go, wishing you. So this is the front. Okay, so here's my card. Oh, yeah, this is what it is. I turn this around, and I'm going because I want this to be totally open. So here's my front of my card. And I have to be able to see things, see where they're at. So that's the front, that's the top. This is what I want. Put my magnet down. And then this is the top of my stamp that says wishing that. So I know this is where it is. And because I had already cleaned it from before, I know when I get it over here, it's not going to get dirty. So now I'm going to put it on this side. And see that it's double-sided adhesive allows it to stick. Let me move this to get this out of the way. So now let me get my, okay, I'm using Stampin' Up's Yo-Yo Yellow ink. I don't have that much. I think I only have 2 things of yellow, different shades of yellow. So, and I don't use it that often, so I'm okay. I don't need a whole bunch of other colors. I just need the basic colors, and I'm okay with that. And because I know I'm going to have trouble. Oh, you know what? I forgot to take off my rubber mat, but that's okay. I'm supposed to take off my foam mat. So I'm at 1. I want to make sure I'm in the exact same spot. Because I got to take off that foam mat because this is red rubber. And I was right at one, and I hope I don't move myself and get it all blurry. But you know what? Before I do it on here, I'm going to position this, and let's see. Okay, it looks like I'm okay. I'm right on the one, and I started off right on the lines. See, and I'm right on the lines. So I think I'm in a good spot. We'll see. We'll see if I mess up. Because it will be double-sided. It will be over. And I was like, no. After all that work, I did that and I messed that up. Okay, right on target so far. I need more of the wishing. So let me add some more pressure. Okay, perfect. There's a little speckle right there I see. I'm hoping I'm going to get my little pokey tool here. Yep, it was a piece of dust. So let's do the bottom half a little bit more. And I do have to put pressure only because I don't have I have no muscle in my hands. It's like, ugh. And this part over here is not as bright as I would like it, so it's going to be this part over here. So I'm just going to ink that part only. And it adds more pressure. And then part of this is because of the depth of the magnets, it's keeping me from putting so much pressure down here, which is why you want to get rid of the foam, because of the thickness of the foam doesn't allow you to add enough pressure when you're pushing down to get a good impression. And see how when I added more pressure, it came out so much better? But I want birthday to be a little bit brighter, so I'm going to add a little bit more ink just to the birthday section part. And then I'm going to concentrate adding more pressure on the bottom half where it says birthday. Ta-da! Good, 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 good. Close my stamp pad. Clean my stamp. Move my magnets. And there you go. It's kind of yellow, so it's going to be kind of hard to see in the camera, but it really can't. You can see it. Wishing that all your wishes come true on your birthday. And it's a slight shadow. Very, very slight, but I'm okay with it. You know. And if you wanted to fix it, if you didn't like it, all you got to do is, because this is, I don't want to do the whole card over again, is you get a scrap piece of cardstock, any color, and stamp it again properly, and then glue it on top of this exactly. So it was like you meant to do it on purpose, even though you're fixing your mistake. But that's a good way to fix your mistake. Okay, so there's that card. Close this back up. My magnet turn spot. So now, here's my envelope that's going to go with this card. Make sure that that fits in there. Yes, he does. And because I did do just a little bit of depth for the banana on the top layer, this is just a regular A2 size card. And ta-da! There he is. But I'm almost done. Not totally done. Just want to show you. And this is the finished card. And I used C22, C24, and sparkle pens because I like to do a little bit of bling. So we're going to do a little bit of bling, and I just want to show you how I colored. The C24 is that bottom layer of the banana. Now when you use Memento, what's it called? Yeah, Memento ink. That is good ink. That's ink that's good for alcohol markers. And these Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. So you technically should wait a few hours because the ink is not totally dry. But if you just dab, go around. Try not to get too much of the black. You won't get black ink on your ink, the tip. If you do, and you notice, because you'll see it as soon as you start marking, get a piece of scrap paper and wipe that off. And then let me get back and make sure I'm in focus here. Okay, not focus, make sure that I'm in frame. And then you're just dabbing. Instead of doing little like marks like that, you're dabbing. And that's true. I don't have patience. I don't want to wait till tomorrow, or I don't want to wait for a few hours. I want to hurry up and get this done. And anywhere I'm getting close to the black, see, you can see there, see the black right there where I just started right there. So I got too close to the black because the ink is not totally dry. Even though I did that in the very beginning of the video, it's still not dark enough. You can always heat set this with the heat tool. It doesn't always work though. Sometimes it just needs to sit a good 4 or 5 hours. And then here in the middle spot, I can go as much as I can before I come close to the black, because I don't want to get any black ink on my nib, because that black ink will spread to everywhere else. But in this particular case with the bananas, it could just be kind of like the rotten spot of the banana, but it's like, oh, but that's a realistic way of doing. I'm sitting there gabbing and I messed up. This was supposed to be a different color, so you know what. Only the CT4, let me put that right there for you, is for the banana peel, not the banana itself. Gabbing away and I lost track of what I was doing. So let me go back here, make this over. I'm not going to do this too much. And I'm just dabbing, trying not to get too much of the black, because I know it's going to come onto my nib. The nib of the pen, of the marker. The marker, not the pen. This is a marker. This is an alcohol marker. I can see there was black there, so I'm just wiping it off. And it just goes away. So now I'm going to do this guy here. Then let's do this guy here. And do a little bit more. Careful not to do. Try not to when you're on the black or any color ink. When you're on the ink the stamped ink, try to move really, really fast. Just barely touch it. You want just enough color to show up, not a whole lot. And then I'm just dabbing. That's all I'm doing is dabbing, because the minute the ink touches the paper, it spreads. And I'm just cleaning my little nib. If there's any black residue, I see that right there. Clean that off, so this way the next time I use it, I don't have it. Now I'm using CT2. Oh, this is the small point. Yeah. And there's my CT2. And the CT2 goes on the banana. And I'm just dabbing around the yellow, because I'm trying not to get onto the yellow part. It looks to me, this looks kind of yellowy greeny. I bet you know what? I'm supposed to be using CT1. Oh no, I use CT2. You know, I'm going to try CT1. You know what? Forget that. I'm going to use my little chart. I made myself a little chart here. Yeah. I'm going to see. I printed this from their website, and then I color coded all the markers. These are the markers that I do have. See all the ones I don't have? And my craft room has room for more markers. Oh yeah, that's more green. That's why I didn't use this one. You know, but I restarted, so let me finish them off. Dab, 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 dab. Getting close to the black line. Yeah, I remember now. I didn't use that one. And here's a perfect example. This looks, this is CT1. Look how yellow CT1 is. But look, when you put it on here, it looks kind of greeny. It's a little hint of green on there, because here's that CT4. But because I already started, and I don't want to have a funky looking banana, even though I bet you a lot of us eat funky bananas, or waited too long to grab that banana. It's like, okay. So let me go back to my CT2. Let me find my little pointer. And then let's see. With alcohol markers, you can go over it. And kind of. This is what's so good about alcohol markers, is they blend so well from one color to another. And then we'll let that dry a minute. Then let me see what this guy does. Let me see what it does to this guy here, where I messed up from yakking. That's what I get for yakking too much, not paying attention to what I was doing. Let's see, because I'm going in the center, I'm not even anywhere near the black. I can easily just move. It's a little bit better, but it's like, oh well, you know what? But no bananas are the same. Now I'm going to get my Spectrum Noir sparkle pens, and I want them to shine. So I'm going to give them just a hint of glitter. And this, I'm only going to be doing it on the little skins, because there's where the face is at. And also, again, because this is alcohol, and my black Memento ink is not totally dry, because I didn't wait 4 or 5 hours, I'm only going to just barely dab around the black area of the ink, because I don't want to get any black ink smearing. And like with anything else, you'll notice this. You probably can't see this in the video because it's not gonna. Videos don't do it justice, but you can definitely see the wetness of the alcohol as it touches the paper, so you know where you're going. And as you can see, I'm doing this pretty fast. This doesn't take that long at all. And I'm just dabbing here, dabbing there, dabbing here, dabbing there. And then pick it up, take a look at the angle. Just a hint of sparkle. And these sparkle pens, there's a word that says push. You push on it, and that really releases the ink from the barrel into the brush tip. And you can actually see, I know you can't see this on the video, but you can actually see it in person. And this one is almost, you can hear the marble's really loose. I'm pretty sure I'm really close to the end of my color, my ink. This one's running dry because this is the one I use the most. It's the clear, only because I do it on so many projects. Yeah, I can definitely see the alcohol. Yeah, I needed some more squeezing, because I noticed the shimmer just wasn't there. And what's nice with these markers is they come in different colors. See all your colors? This is all the colors. And this particular set that I bought these from HSN on one of those craft shows many years ago, they all come together with the colors, and then I went ahead and made myself a little template so I knew what each color really looked like on white cardstock. Because this is what the color looks on the pen, but it doesn't necessarily look like the color. Like here's the Cosmo one. It looks awful dark. No, this one's called Inspire Violet. But look at the difference. See, here's the violets there. Here's this kind of a peachy color. It's called Pink Champagne. So anyway, and they always stay here together in my little kit. So my colors are always there. But anyway, so you get the main gist. Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's what I needed. I needed some more ink in the barrel of the brush. Okay, so there's the finished project. I'm totally finished. I'm ending the video. So Here is the completed card. This is called a triple matte card. So there's the front. This is the inside. Made it nice and plain and simple. This is the matching envelope that's going to go with it. And it's going to get put in the mail. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. Definitely refer me to some of your friends and family. I would love to get some more subscribers. And I thank you so much. And we'll see you at the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye.